Hello, welcome to Natural Acres Organics. My name is Craig Peters, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for the company.
Craig, how long has Natural Acres been operational?
Natural Acres has been operational since 1992.
Okay. And did it start off originally as a grass-fed and organic farm, or?
No, it did not. The original owner, which his name is Ivan Martin, he started out raising sheep and other animals in an organic, sustainable way, and then he got into other things like produce, and about 8 years ago he started raising organic cattle.
Okay. And what are the differences between raising organic cows and, say, more conventional cows?
The big difference is organic animals, organic cattle, are not allowed to have any antibiotics, any hormones, no chemicals whatsoever. And it is a certified product. The Pennsylvania State Organic Certification certifies organic practices, and the beef that we produce and the beef that we sell is certified by the Pennsylvania Certified Organic Organization. The other difference is the diet on what the animals eat. In the organic beef line, the cattle are only allowed to graze and be fed organic grass.
Mm-hmm. Great. So how much more difficult is it to raise a grass-fed cow as compared to a conventional cow?
It's not any more difficult. The challenges with raising organic cattle is that it takes much longer to fatten, or so to speak, bring the animal to maturity. The conventional way of raising cattle is that's done in the big feedlots in the Midwest, and those cattle are given chemicals, they're given hormone shots, they're given antibiotics when they're sick, and therefore the cattle mature and they fatten much quicker, and they're also given corn and grain and anything under the sun that will get them to market to slaughter very quickly, to get them up to the size and the weight that they have to be. The organic cattle is a totally different animal. It's on green grass, it's grazed on green grass, and they are matured and fattened, so to speak, very, very slowly, but it's very rich in the amino acids, and the fat that's in an organic cattle is totally different than what's in a traditional way of beef. So it's not more difficult to raise organic cattle, it just takes a little longer to do so.
Right. Are there any difficulties in raising organic cattle versus conventional cattle?
The difficulty is when the animal gets sick. Like humans, animals also get sick. But when the animal does get sick, we're not allowed to give it any antibiotics, any chemicals whatsoever. So when the animal gets sick, we must destroy it. So the difficulty is when you start out with 30 or 40 organic cattle, and 1 or 2 of them get sick, now you're down to 28. Or conventional, traditional beef is they'll just give it some kind of drug to make it better, or they'll slaughter it anyhow.
Yeah.
And in the organic world, that's something we can't do. So that's the difficulty in keeping your animals healthy and making sure that they retain the same diet.
So how important has your partnership with Princeton been to Natural Acres?
Our partnership with Princeton has been very important. With traditional beef, the challenge with organic beef is the same, is trying to sell or use the entire cattle. With cattle, there's different cuts of meat. You have your steaks, you have your chops, you have your roast, and of course you have your hamburger. Where Princeton fits into our process very nicely is we do market and sell quite a bit of steaks. We do market and sell quite a bit of roast in the organic cattle. The hamburger, however, sometimes is a challenge to market. And where Princeton comes into place is they are a very good mix, because most of the hamburger that we have left over after we process our steaks and the better cuts of meat, just about all that goes to Princeton. So really, they really fit into our process and procedure, because they balance out that we can get rid of or sell the entire cattle.
Great. And what would you think is the most important part about raising cattle organic as opposed to conventional?
The biggest thing is raising cattle or anything in the organic practice is it's so much better for our environment. It's a sustainable way. It's a sustainable way of agriculture. By feeding the animal nothing but natural grass and organic alfalfa, it's definitely a better cut of meat. You don't have the harmful fatty acids in an organic cattle as you do a conventional cattle. The other big thing is the big cattle that are raised in the feedlots in the Midwest, and that's where most of our beef comes from, is from the feedlots in the Midwest, where they raise 30,000 cattle are in one pen. The environmental hazards there with the manure and the waste and all that things with raising those cattle is just bad for our environment. Whereas the organic process is you're raising cattle in a much smaller environment. Sometimes there's no more than 15 or 16 cattle in a given pen, and they're free to graze throughout the countryside. So there's not the environmental hazards with organic cattle is much less than it is from the big cattle